Hey, it's Holly and I'm here with my quarter two wrap up. So I'm going to talk about stats and some favorite books from the last 3 months. So quarter two is April, May, and June. So let's get started. Again, the book journal, which does have more stickers on it now. That's exciting. Oh, hello, Murphy. You're a furnace. So maybe you don't crawl all over me. Can we get down? Thank you. So this is my quarterly spread. So in the last 3 months, I read 52 books, which was 17,444 pages, and I bought 69 books. It's fine. It's fine. Of the books that I read, and this is like pretty, except for the book buying, that's like double what I did the first quarter. The reading was like pretty on par with the first 3 months. And actually I think, let me look at the monthly breakdown. So in April I read 19 books and about 5,800 pages. May I read 17 books and about 6,000 pages. June 16 books and about 5,500 pages. So like pretty, I would say that's pretty like consistent, which is really good. So of the books I read, I also, if you hear my fan, I'm sorry, I'm not turning it off. It's hot. Oh, also if you hear other things, it's Murphy on his scratcher. We're just gonna be thankful he's using the scratcher and not the rug. So of the books I read, 41 of them were new to me and 11 were rereads. I actually thought I had done more rereads, so that number was lower than I was expecting, but it's not a bad number. I read 49 of them were by female authors, 3 were by male. When it comes to release date, so 11 were 2020 releases, 4 were ones I had bought, and 7 were ARCs, and then 41 of the books were backlist. I had no DNFs, no 1 stars. I like don't give out 1-star reviews. 2-star, I had 6 2-stars, 23 stars, which is quite a lot I feel like for me, 17 4-stars, and 9 5-stars. Now a lot of my 5 stars were rereads. Picking my favorites for this quarter was a little more challenging, but it's fine because I really didn't want to pick rereads, but I did for one of them. So then when it comes down to genre, 42 were adult. So adult for me is adult romance, adult fantasy, anything like that. 12 were YA and 4 were other. I believe they were all nonfiction books. That's typically what is in my other category, and I believe they were all nonfiction, like informative. Like I usually listen to more like self-development books, but I think these were all like historical or like modern history kind of things. So when it came to sources, I bought 17 of them. I got 12 from my library, 7 were from NetGalley, 9 were from Kindle Unlimited, 3 were from Audible, 2 were from Scribd, and 2 were other. What was other? I think they were like free books like through the author or something. I don't remember. But that is pretty good, and even though that's 9 Kindle Unlimited books, I actually have canceled my Kindle Unlimited subscription because I found I wasn't really using it. And I think when I get back into reading Ruby Dixon, because I believe all of her stuff is Kindle Unlimited, I might resubscribe. And what I might end up doing is trying to do like maybe like a Kindle Unlimited month, although I don't particularly like reading on my Kindle. So, which you're probably like, then why would you ever get Kindle Unlimited? Well, sometimes there's just stuff that you have to get there. So I don't know, but I think Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers, she does a lot of Kindle Unlimited. I think she actually just posted a video, I haven't watched it yet, that was like all Kindle Unlimited reads because she was canceling her subscription. So, you know, and maybe I'll get lucky and they'll, like, I'll be I'll be unsubscribed long enough that they'll do the like cheap 3-month subscription. I can't remember if it was like $1 for 3 months or if it was like $8.99 for 3 months. Either way. But yeah, when I get back into like Ruby Dixon, I might reevaluate, but for now it seemed right to just not have it. So now let's talk favorites. So for April, my favorite book was Written and Read by Anne Bishop. This was a reread, and I actually got this as an audiobook from my library, and oh my gosh, I love it even more now than I did the first time. I think I gave this 4 stars originally, and it is now a 5-star book. Oh my gosh, I love this world, and like I want to read other Anne Bishop, and I want to read more fantasy, and so it's like, well, you already know you like Anne Bishop, so like read her books, but I know some of her books are kind of heartbreaking, and so I just don't know if I'm like in the mental place to handle that. If you read Anne Bishop and you have like a recommendation for me, hit me up and let me know. And it's not like I'm afraid of like people dying. Like I can handle it to some extent, but sometimes it's just too much. I don't know. But I loved being back in this world. I also read the 2nd book this quarter, and I'm planning on reading the 3rd book this month. Or like probably even this week if I can. I have it out of the library. I think I have like 2 weeks left on my loan. And once I start listening to it, I'll just listen to it constantly. I know I will. But I loved this. I loved this whole world. I love the characters. It felt like going home, and I don't know. And the narrator, I can't remember her name. She did such a good job with all the voices, but especially with Meg. Like, she embodied Meg so well, and I was like, I can't not put this on my favorites. Like, I'm sorry, I have to. And then in May, I did Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev. Is anyone surprised? This is the 2nd book in her Rajas series. They are Jane Austen retellings or reimaginings because they're not super loyal to the original, but I actually think she does a really good job of doing retellings. And so this one is Persuasion, which is my favorite. I actually did receive this as an e-arc from NetGalley, which I read and reviewed, and then I bought a physical copy of it because I mean, I love Sonali Dev and I love her writing and I love her characters. This of course was another 5-star read, and I just like, the next book in the series isn't announced and I need it, and I need information. Like, I just need to know. I love the family in here. They're not all like siblings. There's like cousins and grandparents, and I just love this whole like world she's created. I talked about this once with my uncle's girlfriend about the world of contemporarily set books, and she was like, I don't understand what you're saying, and I'm like, no, like, and I'm like, I'm assuming you all understand what I'm saying, where just because a story takes place in our world doesn't mean that the author doesn't have to create something. Like, I still have to like feel this world, and Sonali Dev is just so good at doing this. And these books take place in California, and like, fun fact about Holly, I don't really like books set in California. I don't know why. Maybe I have some prejudice against the state. I don't know. Perhaps I should analyze this. But I really do enjoy these. I also don't like books set in New York City, so it's not like I only hate books set in California. But I still really enjoy these, and again, it's just great Sonali Dev writing, and they make you so hungry. Especially this one, it's not just like casual mentions of food, which always happens in a Sonali Dev book, but, or at least all the ones I have read. But in this one, the heroine, her name is Ashna. She is a chef, and she ends up reconnecting with a boy she knew when she was younger. Obviously persuasion is second chance romance. And they're competing on a cooking show, like on the Food Network, where like celebrities, he's a soccer player, is put together with a chef, and then they like compete. So there's cooking there. She owns a restaurant that she's trying to save. So much food. Don't read these hungry. Yeah. I will say, like, content warning, this does talk about, there is discussions of suicide. That's probably like the biggest thing I can think of. And a huge part of the story is Ashna's relationship with her mother, and it's very tense and complicated, and I really liked that part of the story and how much page time it was given. It's a little rushed at the end, but it worked really well in here. And then for June, I was like, I can't remember a book in June I really loved. And then I was like, let me look at my book journal. And then I was like, I read this book in June? June, it was a weird month, you guys. I don't know why, but June was weird for me. Like, it flew by or something, I don't know. My last book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. Now, if I still gave out half stars, this would be 4.5 stars. And the only reason this is not 5 stars is because I have a mental hang up. I believe I've discussed this before. With giving first books in series 5 stars. I like never do it on an initial read. Now on a reread, I up it to a 5 star all the time. I don't know why I do it. I think in my head, I'm like, well, what if the next book is better? It's like, bitch, they can both be 5 stars. But that's not my thought process. So I gave this 4 stars, but it like breaks my heart that I gave it. Should I just change it? Freaking loved this. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad the TBR jar made me read this, because I was gonna wait to read it because it's not finished, and the series, and I have so many unfinished series on my shelves already that are like literally finished, but I haven't read them all. And I was like, I can't start another series. But I'm so glad I did, because I totally get it. I loved this book. It's YA fantasy. I feel like a lot of people know it. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And oh my gosh, I loved these characters. I love this world. Harper is like one of my new favorite characters of all time. She is like, I feel like reading her, I'm like, why can't other YA authors write characters like Harper? I'm not gonna talk about other characters that I don't like, because I don't like to be negative, but there are other characters that I see in YA and I'm like, why are you like this? And then you read something like this and you read Harper and you're like, this is perfection. She is so well developed, complex, interesting. I'm obsessed with her. I actually loved like all of the characters in here. I cried. I was on the edge of my seat. I read this so quickly, which was really scary because it's freaking big. So it's like, this is the kind of book I try not to read during the week. I did read it during the week anyways, because the potential of staying up all night and reading it. Fortunately, my commute is like 20 feet, so it's not a big deal. But yes, I really loved this, and I'm hoping, I already bought the second one. It just came, and I am so excited to read it, and I'm just like so sad because like then I have to wait for the third one, and I'm hoping the third one is the last one, just because I don't want to have to continue to wait. So if you know for sure if this is going to be a trilogy, let me know, because I was trying to figure it out and I wasn't getting like definitive answers for it, you know, whatever. So yeah, those are my stats for the second quarter of 2020. We are now halfway through the year. And I will see you next time. Bye.